profile. The real challenge in a job interview, in any language, remains the same. You need to set yourself apart according to the nature of the job vacancy and the company. And you have to do so by highlighting qualities which you will have selected in advance. Your interviewer won't just be looking for information on your experience and qualifications, which in any case are already described in your CV. He or she will want to find out who you are. What are your personal, interpersonal qualities? This has an important implication for you as candidate, which is that even faced with better qualified candidates than yourself, it's your personal qualities, your qualities of contact, and what these say about your identity, which will win the day. The interview takes place on two levels. There's what you do and who you are, and the second follows from the first. And it's implied in every piece of information that you provide on your career events. Now, a job interview is a sales process in the event the product is you. And as in all commercial transactions, it's necessary to satisfy the internal logic of the buyer, that chain of reasoning which addresses all the questions, implicit as well as explicit, and which will lead the buyer to a purchase. In the context of the interview, your responses have to allow the interviewer to form a coherent vision of your motivation. And the implicit questions in an interview concern your identity. What are your specific qualities as an individual? What distinguishes you from others? It's essential to respond in terms of your career events. In fact, all the questions which will be put to you during the interview on your responsibilities, your successes, your failures, your reasons for applying, all these questions are springboards which you can use to define your identity. How you select your answers should be adapted to the company and its culture, along with the specific features of the post. So, let's take some examples. If you're invited to speak about your skills, it's also an opportunity to speak about the choices you made in acquiring these skills, your past aspirations. If the questions direct you towards describing your successes and failures, you can also speak about the qualities which enabled you to achieve the first and the strengths which you gained from overcoming the second. If the interview turns towards the reasons for which you applied, this is an opportunity to speak about the vision that you have of your career and the steps which led you here. If the questions concern your career development, you can also talk about your future aspirations, the way you see yourself evolving from the position you're applying for. The choice of these career events is one of the most difficult tasks to achieve on one's own. Most of us are simply too close to ourselves. It's not so much a question of recognizing our own qualities, but seeing how these are reflected in our experience. So ideally, it takes a second person to show us the real significance of our own experience. If you have the opportunity, bring another person into the process, someone who knows you, but without too many presuppositions. This approach often brings very surprising results.